How real are the Packers, Greg? I mean, right?
Well,
what do you got for me there?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of been interesting. We've kind of seen Green Bay. I've gotten to study them on kind of the bookends of their season, and everything in between has kind of been up and down. You don't really know what to make of it. But we called them week 1 against Chicago, and we came out of Soldier Field saying, wow, like, I don't know how good Chicago is week 1. They're figuring out, but Green Bay looked apart and Jordan Love looked apart. And then we saw them. They've had ups and downs. They wanted to give up on Jordan Love. And then the last 3 weeks, and we talked about it at the open of the show, we said, these last 3 weeks, if they can get this Jordan Love and these young playmakers that are dynamic, inexperienced, yes, mistake prone, sure, but they are fast, they are athletic, they are explosive. That element of their offense really started to come together for 3 weeks leading up to that Detroit game. So we kind of came into the Detroit game saying, if the defense can hold up and not make this a 35-point-plus game, they got a shot. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. That defensive line, which was really the only healthy element of Green Bay, they dominated the game. Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith, they dominated the game. And Jordan Love played his 4th game in a row that was his best game of his career, albeit his young career. So I think when it's said and done, you're talking about that 7th seed, that 3rd wild card. Are they not better than Atlanta? Are they not better than? I would argue that they are.
Right. You also got the Vikings in that mix at 6-6 right now. The Rams have come on strong. They're 5-6 as well. And they can absolutely catch a little bit of fire here. And they got Kansas City on Sunday night, so that would be quite a shocker for them to get to 500 that way. And what about the Lions, man? I mean, you got them fresh off of the snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat against Chicago. And then that wasn't just an outlier because Love was playing well. I mean, Rashawn Gary got after it. You were talking about the health of that Packers defensive line, and that's the strength of Detroit on offense is that offensive line. They got hit in the mouth, man. They got crushed on that day. What's your level of concern for Detroit, Greg?
Yeah, Detroit Lions fans hate us. Detroit's only lost 3 games. They've only lost 3 games, and unfortunately, we've called all 3.
Oh, you're the voice of their misery. I didn't know that. We just discovered that. I had no idea. Okay.
For any Detroit Lions fans, we apologize. It is, I promise you.
Okay.
It is not. It's not. We don't wish anything on anyone.
Let's look at it the other way. At least you're not in New Orleans for them this week, Greg. You won't be there.
Fair.
Okay, great.
Yeah, they're saved. They're saved from us. But no, I think. I really like Detroit. First of all, I love Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell is the perfect mix of old school grit, toughness, motivation, but he also views the game as a very modern coach, right? And I know the 4th down stuff kind of didn't go his way, 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 on the 4th down tries. That's been him since he took over in 21. He believes in the culture of being aggressive. Winning creates more winning habits. He's been true to that since game 1 when they started out struggling in 21 before they flipped this thing mid last year. So with that being said, what got away from them in that Green Bay game is when we talk about being able to play different styles of offense, right? Being able to play different styles to victory. That style didn't play great for them because they fell behind. And when they're chasing points and they're not in that play action mode and they're not under center and they're not using their run actions to open their run game and vice versa, that's the Ben Johnson offense. That's the beauty of what makes that offense, in my opinion, the best offense in the league from a scheme standpoint is the Ben Johnson, the Kyle Shanahan, McVay. That tree of guys, I think, is the best offense. It's just hard to play from behind in it. It's such a run action, play action, under center, boots, nakeds, that all of a sudden now you're chasing a 2-score deficit late in the second half, and I got to be drop back shotgun. And that's when we saw Green Bay's defensive line really take it to them. So, again, formula for success and how games line up either play into or out of what you're good at. And I think Thursday was the perfect example of the game got out of the style that Detroit wants to play and trying to play from behind there. They had a couple turnovers, sacks, pressures, and it just kind of spiraled. And it came down to a couple 4th down failures, and they were 1 possession short there at the end.
Yeah, the problem is the team they're chasing in the conference just won a bunch of games or on a heater right now winning games that aren't going their way or aren't going the tempo that they like, right? The Eagles were able to overcome it, and the Lions have succumbed to it, and that's the team they're going to have to go maybe into their lair on a divisional weekend, or who knows, and win. Like, that's the rub right here for Detroit, you know?
Absolutely. And listen, are they capable of beating anyone any given week? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree.
There is no question about it. From a scheme standpoint, talent standpoint, again, offensive line, that plays well at the end of the year. I mean, I would say most football people say, all right, Philly's the best and Detroit's like 1B. You know, they're right behind them as far as 5 guys that can play at a high level, run and pass. You know, again, Thursday notwithstanding. So they can win anyway. But again, this is about increasing your odds, increasing your pathways to victory. What's in your best likelihood? There's no question Detroit would love the playoffs to come through, at least host, you know, have them come through and host playoff games as much as possible. That is a great place to play. It is loud. Their fans are great. That is not an easy place. It's a different animal now having to go to Philly or go to, you know, Dallas or, you know, however the whole thing shakes out. But barring a sudden collapse of Philly or a sudden hot streak by Detroit, I don't know if there's enough time left for them to catch them.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.